Hey, close my door for me, Daisy.
Can't go Walmart.
Please don't wreck my car.
I'm not. Trying to get the car too. Is something on there?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm live too.
I ain't know that you were quiet up here. No,
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
my bad, live. One time.
All right. What's going on, family? Shout out to everyone. Just waiting on everybody to get in the room. Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday, everyone. Just waiting on everybody to get in the room. What's up, Miss Hampton? M. Hampton? How you doing? What's going on, Globalistic? How you doing? Hope everybody having a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. What's up? I am my ancestors' dream. How are you doing? How are you doing? You doing all right? Are you doing okay? Hope everybody doing okay. You good? That's good. I like to hear that. Everyone that's listening to the playback, you probably want to skim at least maybe 10, maybe about 5 to 6 minutes ahead of where I'm talking at, so y'all can go and get everything cracking. I'm just waiting on a few more people to get in the room. Getting ready for the Nationals today, Tuesday. National. What's Nationals? I am my ancestors' dream. What's the Nationals? Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all share the video. Make sure y'all share the video. We're going to have us a nice conversation. I got a special guest. I'm going to introduce him after I play the music. Yeah, what's the Nationals? Medical assist. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I hope you pass it. You will pass it. What's up, Martika? How you doing, baby? How you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night and wonderful evening. Thank you, Norda Dead. I appreciate you. What's up, Beatrice? What's up with it? Now, you are the truth, Norda Dead. You are the truth, man. You are the truth. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. What's up, Miss Grisham? Hope y'all having a good one, man. We're gonna have us a nice conversation. I got somebody that's politically more smarter than me, so so I had to bring some backup with me when I had these conversations. Everything cool? Okay. Well, listen, y'all, we about to get it started. I'm gonna play the music, and after the music, we're gonna get everything started. Okay? Here we go. Let's get it. That's it. Hold on, y'all. I always get this part messed up, y'all. Hold on.
When my heart was heavy, when my mind was tired, you walked into my shadows with a quiet fire. Brian Jehovah, you are the truth. Every word you speak cuts straight through. Brian Jehovah, carving my youth into something real, something new. Brian Jehovah, you are the the voice inside. You wrote peace upon me, pulled me to your side. Brian Jehovah, you are the truth. Every word you speak cuts straight through.
What is going on, family? And yes, Northern Dead, yes, the it's on my look at my playlist. The full song is on my playlist. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone. Happy Sunday to everyone. Before we get started, I just want to introduce a special guest of mine, man. This is Daniel from the Foundational Report, and he's here to assist me with his knowledge, with his expertise, and he just know every goddamn thing. This man like an open book. So make sure y'all follow Daniel at the Foundational Report. Also, what's going on, Daniel? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Brian Jehovah? You are the truth.
No, you the
Every
truth, brother.
word. What's going on?
What's going on with it, man? You doing all right this Sunday, brother?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just ran up the stairs to get back to the studio. That's why I'm a little out of breath. But I appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh man, listen, man, it's always a pleasure for me to even grace your presence. Now, I know a lot of y'all know Daniel and his YouTube page called the Foundational Report. But listen, y'all, Daniel finna go on a whole nother level. So I'm just happy to see him thrive, and I get to see him thrive and grow outside of social media and hitting these spaces out here. You know what I'm saying? Hitting these spaces. Want me to add you to this one? Gotcha. Let me remove this one. Boom. There we go. There you go. Yeah, so I'm always grateful to have brothers like Daniel up here, man. He's gonna be the next runner up. We're gonna see him a lot on news. We're gonna see him a lot on TV. We're gonna see him a lot on major radio stations. So I just always like to give my flowers to the young brother, man. But shout out to Daniel. Shout out to Daniel. So Dan, you got anything you want to plug in before we get started, man? Anything you want to say? Can you hear me, Daniel? What's up, Doc Joyner? I don't think Daniel can hear me. Can you hear me? I don't think Daniel can hear me. I think we have a little technical difficulty. Can you hear me? Yeah, you froze, brother.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you
Mic check one,
froze.
two.
Okay,
1 second.
okay, take your time. But yeah, I hope everybody having a good Sunday, man. So I'm gonna run everything off right now. I'm still stuck on the situation. Say
Can you
something.
hear me?
Yeah, perfect. You got anything you want to plug before we get started, man? Anything you want to say about yourself on here that people already know or don't know? He might can't hear me. I think we have technical difficulties. You going in and out, brother. Yeah, you froze. Yeah, you froze like a mug. Can y'all hear him anything? Can y'all see him moving in the chat? Can y'all see him moving in the chat? Just let me know. Let me bring him up on this stage right here. He probably having technical difficulties. Say something,
All right,
Daniel.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
My bad. This thing is tripping.
Okay, it's cool. Before we get started, man, anything you want to plug or anything you want to say about yourself or anything before we get started, let the people know who you are, which they already probably do.
Yeah, my name is Daniel. I run the foundation.
You going in and out,
Am I
brother.
echoing?
Nah, you going in and out. Am I echoing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
No. I hear echo on my end.
Okay, let me mute up.
All right. Can you hear me now? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I can hear you.
Uh, yeah, I don't hear echo now. Hold on 1 second. All right. Yeah, no. So my name is Daniel. I do the foundation report. Foundational Black American on both sides of my family. I think I run a mildly successful YouTube channel. Trying to get like my guy Brian Jehovah here, But yeah, that's it. I really got nothing to plug. I'm just here to have a conversation with the homie Brian. That's all.
All right, let's get it. Anyway, so I want to move forward. So today we will be talking about the Democrats and voting in this upcoming midterm election. We is going to get to that very shortly, but I do still want to talk about the young Black American woman that was found hanging from a tree in Jackson, Mississippi, which is my hometown. And I found a little more information about the situation, but just in case y'all haven't heard about it, whatever, I'm finna pull that up right now so y'all can see it because I talked about it on Friday, this past Friday. So just bear with me. Let me pull that up. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Sad situation, man. Sad situation. From what I'm understanding, people are saying it's a guy that she used to date that did this. So that's what I'm understanding now. There's a guy that she used to date that did this. So let me move around. Remove. Boom. Well, once I figure out how to work this thing here, y'all, I'm gonna be a bad motherfucker. Wait till I figure out how to work this thing, like y'all be doing. But yeah, this the young lady, Tasia Fortune, 29, identified as woman found hanging in the tree behind a vacant Jackson home. Now, reason why this is so touching to me because this happened in my hometown. But I reached out to people on yesterday that knew the young lady, and they said the young lady was pretty cool, pretty decent, but she had some things going on in her background also. So on yesterday, they did find a person that did have that might have something to do with it, but we don't really know yet. And he said he ain't had nothing to do with it, but he did say he did get to arguing with her that particular day. So that don't mean nothing. It can happen to anyone. But at the same time, when people ask me the question like, "Well, Brian, do you think it was any white supremacists that had anything to do with it? Do you think white people that came from Rankin County or Madison County had anything to do with it?" It's kind of hard for me to say because we really never had. We had a few issues like that dealing with white supremacists that come to Jackson, but Jackson, the majority black, is a majority black town, and it just that particular area, it just kind of odd to me that a white person would do that. But I would never, ever, 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 ever second guess that a white person didn't do it or have done it. So that's my thoughts on it right there. I'm trying to get in contact with the family because it's one person that I do know that did used to work with the young lady, um, and I'm hoping she can get in contact with her for me. Anything you want to say, Daniel, about this story if you haven't heard about it or if you have heard about it?
Yeah, so when stuff like this happen, I'm always kind of a little. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm finna mute up.
No, you good. I'm sorry. That was Brooke of all the times the call she call now. Um, but no. So for me, I hear stuff like this. I'm always just kind of skeptical, right? I try not to jump to conclusions when I first hear stuff because these people like to play on your emotions. So, say for example, right? This case or whatever, right? It's unfortunate. At the end of the day, this young lady lost her life for whatever reason, whether she took it by her own hand or somebody did that to her. It's really a terrible thing, and whether people know it or not, a lot of people's lives are in shambles behind this. So I like to look at it like that. So I like to be kind of careful with my speculation because when it's happening, people are looking for something to blame. I'm not talking about strangers on the outside. I mean people close to her. So I try to hold my judgment. I think what you're doing is a smart thing. Reach out to people who knew her as a person. With her being from your hometown, whatever, right? I just kind of sit back and I think if this was foul play, I do think justice needs to be applied. You know, and just we on YouTube, but I just say justice needs to be applied. And if this was, a tragic, self-inflicted situation, I do think there needs to be understanding and compassion toward the family because at the end of the day, this is somebody's daughter, somebody's mom, somebody's. Well, I don't know if she's a mom or not, but this is somebody's daughter, their friend, their classmate, their coworker, and they're no longer there anymore. Way too soon. 29 is really young, so that's all I got to say on it. Really, I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it hit a couple mainstream media outlets like People Magazine. I think CNN did an article on it, but it just wasn't pushed like other situations. In my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion. I just kind of noticed when black women are being strung up in trees, it don't get that much media push. But when black men get strung up, it gets pushed all over the United States just like that. Even it's a sister out there in South Florida that was found hanging from a tree, and I know that particular area. That particular area is like a Hispanic area where she was found hanging from a tree at. And I was just, they said it was they didn't find no foul play, and they think she unalived herself. But from what I understand, from what the family said, they don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? They believe something else happened to her, and that story hasn't been talked about either. So I just kind of noticed like the difference of media, um, how media present the news when it happens to a Black American woman or it happens to a black male. It's just kind of wild to me, when I see situations like that happen. I don't know. That's something I might have to look into. Why do they present that? I ain't saying they like black men more than anything, because the media hate us black men. But it's just kind of wild to me, like why when situations like this happen to black women, it don't get the media push like it is if I was found hanging from a tree. Everybody and their mama gonna be hooting and hollering and see like what the hell going on. So that's my thoughts on that, man. I just wanted to touch on that for a brief second, man. Just touch on it, man.
Well,
Let the people know
the
what's
reason
going
why
on.
they separated it is because ratings.
Mm.
So historically speaking, like this is not even again, could be wrong. So for all the fact checks out there, when women tend to unalive themselves, and this is why people assuming it might be foul play, they typically be concerned about the cleanup behind it, right? So they kind of do pills. They don't really do messy, right? Men, they do whatever, messy. But historical context, they made men strange fruit. So the Democrats, and not the, whatever, Democrats will use a black male in this situation as, a talking point that they need more power to combat white supremacy. So they'll say, oh, this guy swinging from the tree, this is white supremacy. We got to stop this. Vote for us and we'll stop it, right? They use it as a campaign and they know people get riled up behind it. The reason why they don't do the women as much is because, you know, ratings, right? And that's just simply it, ratings. They can talk, they can go on and on for months about how this dude was that and, it gets the support, but the ratings, like, it doesn't do well, doesn't test well. Because most of my thought process on this, I could be completely wrong. Most of their viewers and, people who listen to them are Caucasian women. They don't really care about black women like that.
That's a good point.
The Caucasian women don't care. Like, they don't care. Like, they can virtue signal when it comes to black males. Oh, they're so terrible. But with the black women, they don't really care. It's like with the white men. They don't care about us. So, you go to a white male dominated space, you mention a black male problem, they don't care. It's the same, vice versa.
Facts. What's up, Brooke? Brooke in the building. What's going on, Jacqueline Johnson? What's going on, Sheena Barrett? How y'all doing, man? Hope y'all having a good one. I might bring Brooke up, man. Once we get to the Brooke, you able to come up? Not now, but once we get to the Democratic portion. But yeah, man, I do 100% agree with you, man. I do 100% agree. But check this out, though, Dane. I'm gonna go and switch it over, man, because I really want to get to this Haitian situation. Now, me and Brooke talked about this the other day. I just want to get your thoughts on this. So I'm gonna play this video for you right in front of you, right quick, brother. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to learn how to be a live host, a YouTube live host. That's what I'm working on.
You doing a good job.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying, black man. I'm trying. Let me see. Here we go. I did share screen. Okay. Why it's not showing? Okay, there you go. There you go. My bad. Share. Hit this button right here. Here we go.
If you allow people to actually become a part of society, not just through rental, but through ownership, because these people also have homes, and you allow them to be in a country where you could see that they've established their children in this country to the point that their children now are going to college. What you just did was you have almost normalized the situation where anyone with common sense would say TPS, temporary. Temporary doesn't exist. Why? I own a house. I've even opened up a business. My children is graduating from Yale, Harvard, FIU, Florida State University. So of course, it's been normalized. We all accepted it. We didn't tell them it's temporary. Don't get your high hopes. Don't think about the future in this country. They literally have been here 10, 15, 20 years. So we normalized it ourselves. So that's something that we have to take in consideration. If these people have been so rooted, why not? The same time it took.
That was the wrong one. That's the one I didn't want to play. Hold on. My bad, y'all. My bad. My bad. Hold on.
Are
It
you
was
good?
one.
You was muted for a second.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I can't even find it, y'all. Hold on. It was something that he said. I should have had this read. But anyway, I don't even want to stay on this too long because we talked about it last time. I'm messing up the whole show anyway. But listen. So basically, man, this this Creole guy, he voted for Donald Trump. And hold on, I'll play this. I'll play here. Go.
I voted for Donald Trump.
The Chef Creole restaurant in Miami's Little Haiti neighborhood is typically bustling with customers. Not today.
People are scared.
Owner Wilkinson Sajor says it's not just the clientele. After 34 years in business, he's lost his entire management team at 7 locations and will likely have to shut down 2 stores due to the end of temporary protected status.
The end of TPS means for me that my future in the hospitality business is almost going to be non-existent.
On Sunday, federal officers made an immigration arrest outside one of his restaurants.
What would you say to the president that you voted for?
He sold to me that he is a businessman and that he will be making business decisions.
Do you regret your vote?
Yes, I do. I voted for Donald Trump.
The Chef Creole.
It was one part I was trying to look for. I don't know where it said though, Daniel, but it was one part on there where he was talking about how like Black Americans are lazy, and I couldn't find it. I couldn't find that video when he said Black Americans are lazy, and 24 hours later, Black Americans that done went in on the on a Google review and just went in on them. But the part I want to ask you about is why you think him as a Haitian voted for Donald Trump? What you think?
I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. I think he said he thought Donald Trump was a businessman. Like, I be confused by these people. I don't know. I guess he thought he was gonna get rid of the Mexicans. I didn't think he would think all immigrants came into play, but I couldn't say what his thought process was. He said he thought he was a businessman, so he voted for him, and it backfired on him because he didn't have his business in order. If you was a businessman, you should have your business in order. You made your management team people who didn't have their papers. I don't know about you. If you fill out a job application in the U.S. in the past 15 years, they ask you, do you require sponsorship or in the future will require sponsorship? They ask you that because they don't want to invest all this time in you and then you get shipped away. Now, as a business person, you're looking for longevity out your employees. That's why they'll ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? They're looking for you to say something, moving up with the company or at a state more stable. They want you to be with them for as long as possible because the longer you stay with them, the less money they have to invest in training new people. He invested his entire business well-being and management structure in temporary protective status people. Yeah, that was a fool move as a business owner, especially when Trump told you he's deporting people. Like, I don't understand what the confusion is. Did you not think it would apply to you? It said temporary. Did you not think this day will come? Yeah, I mean, I just think he's an idiot. I think a lot of the time these people, they get so overconfident. When I was in the Army, We had a drill sergeant. Always said complacency kills. Do not be complacent. Pay attention. Right. Check your surroundings. Complacency put him in this situation. And unfortunately, the thing it tells you in the title is temporary. Now, yes, some people have come over 30 years, have passed away, had children, and you thinking, okay, this is gonna happen for you, but eventually the bill comes due. And guess what? The bill came due and you wasn't prepared. So now you gotta shut a couple of business down. It says the orange is no business, man. Depending on who you ask, love. Depending on who you ask. I mean, I think he did pretty well in business. That's
Yeah, but I do
my
agree.
personal opinion.
Yeah, I do agree what you're saying about him voting. I heard some people, and I kind of felt like this because a lot of immigrants that do vote, on the red side, they also thought that Donald Trump gonna be messing with us, like fucking with us, harassing us and shit. And I think a lot of them did that also. They thought that well, he ain't gonna really mess with me because I'm a good immigrant, I'm a good person. He gonna mess with them Black Americans. Turned out shit, Donald Trump ain't really focused on us like that. He focused on them immigrants, and I guess they got their immigrant wake up call now. That was just my personal opinion, though. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, but anyway, y'all, we're gonna move on to the voting, cause we know we got the midterm coming up, and a lot of Black Americans, man, on TikTok or even some people would email me and just ask me questions about, voting this coming up election, and just what's my thoughts on what should they do in a situation of them voting right now, and I couldn't really give them an answer. Number one, I don't stay in a state. Number two, I don't know what type of city, I don't know what's going on. So I said, well, let me ask someone that's an expert on politics more than I am. And I think Daniel's just one of those people that can give great insight. So I'm gonna ask Daniel a few questions about this midterm election, man. Just want to pick his brain apart so he can educate me and educate the people in the crowd. Now, Daniel, as a foundational Black American, who do you believe that Black Americans should be voting for in the upcoming midterms, and why?
Ooh, that's tough one there, Brian. Um, this is where it gets tricky at, right? Because I wouldn't officially endorse anybody. I would say the same thing you said. Check out your local people. But I will say beware of the Democrats. So for those people who don't know, there's a civil war going on between the Democrats right now. You got the Democratic Socialists of America, and you got the traditional Democrats. Now, as foundational Black Americans, we are extremely capitalistic. This new Democratic Socialist stuff with Mom Donnie and them, it's causing a lot of friction. And they're not necessarily happy with foundational Black Americans because they've come out and said Black Americans are capitalists, and we are. So if you want capitalism to be under threat, then you go Democratic Socialist. Traditional Democrats are going to have to make the separation, but they're scared to do it now. If you pay attention to what's going on with the Graham Platinum situation, he recently got knocked out of the box because of a myriad of things with his conduct. And then you have people like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer coming out and supporting the other guy. But I say that to say this. I personally don't vote Democrat just because they don't do anything for foundational Black Americans and haven't done anything for foundational Black Americans. And the only reason why I voted conservative is because they with less regulations and they do more for business owners. So this is not an emotional thing for me. I don't think anybody should vote Democrat personally, but do I think the Republicans are just jumping at the bit to help us? Of course not. I voted Republican for business reasons on, and then also I don't like the Democrats, but that's another conversation for a different day. But I do think we need to get to a point where we have both parties campaigning for us to get our vote. And it won't happen if we keep voting for another party at a 90% rate. So naturally, I suggest vote for the other party. Like regardless, just vote for the other party. And then when the conversation arises, why you guys voting for the other party? Say, well, what are you guys doing for us? So we have to force them back to the table. Yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Appreciate it.
Well, you know what? I do agree with you on that too. I agree with you 100% on what you said, Dad. It kind of as you were talking, you kind of took what I was about to say, well, what I was about to ask you next, but I'm still gonna ask you anyway if you can elaborate on it. But how can I say it? Do you think Black Americans should continue voting as a block, or is it time to break that habit? You know, vote strictly based on policy results instead. Because you kind of touched on it when you were explaining in the beginning.
Well, I mean, I think Black Americans need to have a commonality when it comes to specific issues. It needs to be one of those baseline issues that, regardless of what's going on, it's a bipartisan issue. So, for example, right, if Black Americans should keep their vote based on the block on things that benefit us. So, for example, if Black Americans agree with reparations, delineation, and disaggregation, that needs to be a platform for both parties. You see, so like, irregardless of, so let's say, for example, right, as a conservative person, I'm for less regulation and less taxes. That's me. We might have a more liberal person who is for, more regulations, bank control and some other stuff, right? We might be on two opposite ends of that spectrum. However, if they support reparations, delineation, and disaggregation, and I support reparations, delineation, disaggregation, that needs to be a platform for both parties. Like, both parties, like, they have bipartisan support. So say, for example, right, this is a real life example. The anti-Asian hate bill was passed with bipartisan support. I mean, support for both parties. So the Asians didn't have to pick a party. They had bipartisan support. So I think we need to have that for us. So regardless of what we think, all of our candidates need to be echoing our talking points. So that way, doesn't matter which way we vote, that baseline is done. Because it needs to be where if you're not supporting our agenda, then they win by default. You see? So it's like nobody wants that. So if nobody wants that, means they all vote our way. That's what we need to be. I think the things that separate us don't need to be as important as things that do.
Because you did mention issues. So I know you kind of explained, but can you elaborate, like, what specific issues should Black American voters prioritize then when deciding between candidates, especially during this midterm cycle? Like, what should they prioritize, number one? Because I understand reparation, I understand disaggregation, but let's just say right now, none of these candidates are talking about reparations or disaggregation right now. So I ain't saying put it to the side, forget about it, but right now, what issues should Black Americans focus on that you see right now as a Black American?
Immigration. Immigration is a big one. So right now, candidates who are speaking about abolishing ICE, that should be a non-starter for us. See, at the end of the day, we have to understand that this is about control. And if we don't have control of our neighborhoods, they're going to flood those neighborhoods with new voters. That's the reason why they did this. If you take a look at what happened with Castro and the Marietta boat lift, right? When all those people came from Castro, he released the prisons and he sent them over to America. Now, they were showing a lot of grace and love by the Republican presidents. So now they all vote Republican. This is 80 some odd years later. The Democrats want to recreate that with these immigrants. That's why they said just open the floodgates. See, they know that they're losing the foundational Black American vote. If you look at what happened in the last election cycle, it said 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris, and they were celebrating that. Well, that 92% is really like 46% of all eligible voters, because half the people who could vote didn't vote. So voter turnout is lower. The percentages stay the same, right? But the people who turn out to vote is dropping. And that's the thing that they realize. Okay, we're losing popularity with these people. How is that happening, right? So I think we need to be vocal about what's going on. If you're talking about immigration, because that's on the table, hey, we don't support that. Now, they have a decision to make. Do you, A, listen to the most loyal voter bloc you have, or B, you ignore that completely in favor of what may come down the pipeline? See, if Black Americans show up like they did last time at a 50% rate of people who can vote, Democrats are finished. And they know this. That's why they're trying to come up with all these different coalitions. So even though delineation, disaggregation, and reparations may not be on the table for this election cycle, we don't know. They need tangibles. And this is not something they don't know. So if you take a look at the Kamala Harris thing, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. She went on a book tour. She was talking about like the 104 days, something like that. I'm not really familiar with it. But in that, she said, hey, it's okay to tell them to be transactional. So they understand. She even said, get yours. Now, this is a far cry from what they were saying at first. A rising tide lifts all boats and all this other nonsense. That's the message they was preaching at first. See, people have too short a memory. That's what they're preaching at first. And then you got people like the pundit class came out, like Roland Martin. You had Stephen A. Smith. You had a bunch of them come out and say, well, Al Sharpton, all those guys, they came out and said, well, you got to control this and you control that. You got to have the House, the Senate, and the Republic, the House, Senate, and the presidency to get these things passed. And as I go, the Republicans don't get it for you. You're not going to get that if you don't vote. Now, what they failed to mention to people was they had the House, the Senate, and the presidency in 2022 and 2020. And not either one of those times they do anything for foundational Black Americans. As a matter of fact, the one bill they could have passed to help us was the George Floyd Policing Act. And they didn't do it. But at the same time, they pushed Joe Biden's infrastructure bill through. It was so bad, Kamala Harris had to be the tie-breaking vote. She had to come down because if it's deadlocked like it was, the vice president is the tie-breaking vote. And the vice president was Kamala Harris, and she went down and made a tie-breaking vote. They could have had that same vigor and that same tenacity when it came to enforcing the George Floyd Policing Act, which would have actually had some teeth in it and been a great defense for foundational Black Americans who are talking about the police. They didn't do it. So then you fast forward the tape 4 years later, you on your book tour, you tell everybody it's okay to give them permission to be transactional. Now, it's okay if you guys be transactional. It's like, hey, they can tell you that it's okay. Well, we didn't ask you for permission. See, they want to be like they're ahead of it. So I say to anybody who's thinking about voting for that party, this is what they think about you. And I'm telling you, sometimes it's okay to cast a protest vote. This Trump situation for foundational Black Americans has not been a bad thing. There's been some mild discomfort, but if you take your emotions out of you and you just realize, like, okay, what has he done to target us? Not really nothing.
Facts.
But if you're a Democrat shield, this is like the worst time for you. You're like, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's kicking them out. It's like, they're illegal. Illegals are not guaranteed due process. You have rights as an American citizen. That does not apply for illegal aliens. But if you watch them, they'll tell you they have rights. They telling y'all that these immigrants have rights they won't enforce for you. That don't even make sense. So I say to people, and then keep in mind, the Democratic Socialists of America, I'll get to that later. I don't want to jump too far ahead. But yeah, I say all that to say this. As foundational Black Americans, you have to really consider your position, right? Right now, our voting block matters. They don't want that to happen because they'd rather bring in a fresh new crop of voters than to give us what we're asking for. And the more they bring in, the more power we lose.
Facts. Man, I 100% agree with you. Because, see, the problem that I'm having, see, the people that we surround ourselves with, we understand. It's just the ones that still emotionally and spiritually connected to the Democrats. Because, like, what would you say to a person, right? To a Democrat voter, especially a Black American Democrat voter, and they have a politician that's running in their district, but they have a shady record on certain Black American issues in Black American communities, right? A Black Democrat supporter would still vote for them over a Republican. How can we speak? I know everybody gonna do their thing. I'm just saying, just in case someone is listening as a Democrat and just feeling 50-50, how can we convince them, like, listen, just because it's vote blue no matter who, and this person showed you something in your community that this person didn't do nothing for your community, you don't have to vote for them. You don't even have to vote at all. But see what the person that's in the red, that's a Republican, is doing and what he's offering you. Take your feelings out of, like, how can we get through those people? That's my question to you.
To quote the legendary Khalid Muhammad, information and inspiration. So it's one thing to have a conversation like we're having right now. This is the information. We have to find the inspiration to get them to go up and do that themselves, right? So that's the only way it's going to change. I can tell you all day long. I have been in constant contact with the Kent County GOP. I live in Michigan. It's Kent County. I talk to the Kent County GOP chair frequently. He's always asking me for ideas to bring people in, right? And I don't think he actually cares, but it's the fact that we're having a conversation. Because now I look at them like, well, how does this affect us in my community, right? Then you start learning certain stuff. You start learning about the USA money. You start learning about the NGOs, the non-government organizations that get funded through these parties, and that's how they fund themselves. But that's more complicated stuff. We'll get that far. But voting the couch, like you said, is also a powerful tool. Malcolm X said, if something you don't like on the ballot, sit on your vote because your vote matters, and let it be known you're sitting on your vote. In Michigan, it was, I want to say, the Muslims that are over in Dearborn in that area, I think it was like 60,000 of them abstained for voting or something like that, or set out on purpose to show them, hey, if you guys aren't condemning Israel, then we're not going to support you, or something like that. Whatever the issue was, they let it be known as a group that they're not supporting it, and they didn't. And Biden, and they lost. So it was like, all right, we have that same power, and I think you really start to see that. And I actually think most foundational Black Americans are doing this. So if you go back to the No Kings protest, this was like a thing I noticed. I was watching Bill Maher, and he went online. He was like, I'm not seeing too many Black people at these protests. And they're like, oh, they're just scared of ICE. And it's like, nah, we line dancing, big dog. I remember Black women as a whole, after Kamala Harris lost, they said they're going to take a break. That was what all the women were saying around there. They're taking a break. And I don't even think that was them. I think that was just most foundational Black Americans like, man, y'all not doing nothing for us, whatever. And that's reflected. No one's going out to protest. When the Hispanics first out getting snatched up at the beginning of the Trump era, Black people weren't protesting that. And when the Somalians started getting snatched up, Black people weren't. They went down to Selma, Alabama, to try to restart Black people's, I guess, will to fight for other people. Like, nah, we're not doing that. And the guy was like, oh, don't worry, man, the immigrants got the torch now. No, he was vastly condemned from that. This is not our fight. We don't care. So I do think when it comes to getting our people to do it, information and inspiration. When you speak to your politicians, Democrat politicians or conservative politicians, ask them, how are your policies going to affect people in my community? And please don't hit me with that rising tide, lift all boats stuff. Give me specifics, right? If they can't give you specifics, like, oh yeah, listen, I'm just going to go back and let my people know I spoke to you, you gave us nothing. The guy, homie, Black Alpha, went down and spoke to one of the governor candidates. I can't remember who it was. He's like, what are you doing for foundational Black?
That white dude.
Yeah. And he was like, what are you doing for foundational Black Americans? He's like, oh, we're doing generic Democrat answer. He's like, no. What are you doing? Because see, they'll say, oh, we're going to do a study on it. Listen, we're not asking, what are you going to do for us? Like, the study, that's not for us. That's for you to appoint a bunch of foreigners, melanated foreigners, and give them $250,000 a year to sit on the board. You helping your buddies out. That's for the boule people. See, a lot of this stuff that they do is trick bag stuff. They tell you, oh, we're gonna do a study on reparations, and they'll appoint 3 boule people, and they'll give them $250,000 a piece for like 2-3 years to study absolutely nothing to stonewall you. That's what Sister Brooke and President Devine are going through right now with the U.S. Freeman Project in New York. They're dealing with these stonewall tactics, and they last for 30 years. It's don't be nothing short. And if asked about it, they'll point to that as as something they're doing. I authorized a study for your people. And it's like, no, you didn't. That's a time wasting thing, right? So when you hear this, again, information, understand what it is they're telling you. Because the Democrats had this whole thing called benign neglect, where they just don't promise you anything or don't do nothing for you. They spin move you. So understand when they say certain stuff like study, we need more information, that is a spin move. They don't plan on doing nothing. So don't take spin moves. And when they give you a spin move, say, oh, so basically nothing, right? And then let them know, it's a spin move. If you tell them their tricks, because a lot of these politicians are not really the people that's running the show. They're typically, it's their handlers. So when you confuse them, they kind of bag away a little bit, and you can go back and tell people. And that forces them to give something. Like when Trump got on, and the first thing he wanted to do was get rid of the 14th Amendment. I mean, the suspend the amendment. That was a tangible for foundational Black America.
Facts. Facts.
That was a tangible. He attempted it. And it's like, oh yeah, he attempted it. Because believe it or not, the Chicago flips red people, they have Trump's ear. Whether people want to believe it or not, they do. So when they start saying stuff, it's like, all right, it's best to, but keep in mind, and this is where it gets a little tricky. A lot of those people are no friend of foundational Black Americans. They have their own agenda. Just understand that. And just because our agenda aligns in somewhere doesn't mean we're completely aligned with them. I think that's the important thing to remember about politics, because there's a Democrat in my area who I'm going to sit down with and have a discussion with. She wants to talk to me because she heard I've been talking to the GOP. I met with a pastor at church, and he wanted to say, hey, she wants to meet with you. And it's like, that's how you know you're getting somewhere. When people start circulating your conversations, like, oh, he's talking to these people, you might want to hop in there and see what he has to say. Because they understand an informed person, if they give the public the okay, the public will go. If they don't, then they won't, they'll stand back. So it means something when you are out talking to those people, because they'll let other people know, yeah, he's a person we can talk to, or they'll condemn you. But either way it go, if people know your name, it forces the other side to figure out, well, what do you know about this guy? Okay, what is he talking about? Let's talk to him. Let's have a conversation with him. Blah, 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 blah. Then you can better relay what's happening, because these people don't be on the ground floor like that. Brian Jehovah, myself, shout out to my homie FBA room, Brooke, Tariq. We talk to the general public more than these politicians ever will. The only time you see them is election season and when they campaign. That's it. They get free trips back and forth to DC.
Facts.
A lot of them spend time in DC because it's nice and it's free and they get to eat and they get 3 meals a day. They don't make that much money. They'll spend months in DC at a time. Look this up. They'll spend months in DC at a time because their room and board is covered. See, this is stuff that they don't talk about. So they get this job because it's plushy. And in some states, if you get it for enough terms, you get retired. You get that money for the rest of your life. So their goal isn't the same, but they don't want to lose that job. I say that to say this. They don't want to lose that job. So talk to them, make them feel like, hey, listen, we can go elsewhere because we can. And the numbers have shown that. I know I'm rambling a little bit.
No. You kicking fire, man. I'm just agreeing.
Yeah, but
listen.
If you look at the numbers from, okay, my bad.
No, go ahead. No, you flowing. Go.
But if you look at the numbers from the Black American vote, well, the Black vote, say Black American vote, it's trending downward. It went from Obama getting like 98% to Hillary getting like 93%, to Joe Biden getting 90%, Kamala Harris getting 92%. But the numbers, the amount of people voting are down. Like the percentage may fluctuate around the same, but the numbers are down. And in Trump's case, he got 80%. He got, was it 20% of the Black male vote and 8% of the Black women vote? His numbers were up. Their numbers are down. So it's like you see the swing. And you had a lot of Black Americans who honestly wanted to vote for Trump, but they so stuck on that blue no matter who stuff, they just chose the couch. And see, those voters are dangerous for the Democrats. They can't afford to lose those voters. See, Republicans do well when Black people stay at home. Democrats don't. So that's why, like, hey, if y'all want to stay at home, that's fine with us. But then, wait, y'all not staying home, but y'all coming out to vote for us? Oh, okay. And if y'all want us to keep on for y'all, we need X, Y, and Z. Well, that's all I wanted to say. My bad. I'm in.
Oh no, nigga, don't say my bad, boy. You teaching. You teaching. Just like somebody said in the comments, Daniel teaching. And that's a good point, man. So everything you said was fire. So I just want to ask you your personal, what's your personal opinion on this? What's your honest opinion or your prediction for how Black Americans will vote in the midterms? And what do you think the overall outcome will be?
Honestly, man, I don't honestly know. But if I had to guess, I would say Black Americans are probably going to be a low turnout. Just because people they don't really vote in midterms. Black Americans don't actually go out to vote in midterms. It's not really something that a lot of us are, engaged in per se. And you know, especially how we've seen the way they've done certain quote unquote black candidates. Like the way, for example, in your state, Texas, how they Tellerico did Jasmine Crockett. Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
black Americans see stuff like that and be like, huh, yeah, I'm just gonna sit this one out. Right. And
Yeah.
again, remember what I said about the voting process. The Dems do terrible when black Americans don't show up at the polls.
I'm gonna tell
Republicans
you
do
what's
just
going.
fine.
I'm gonna tell you what's going on in Texas. It so happened that you brought up Tallarico. I think Texas gonna flip, not flip all the way, but it's gonna be a lot of blue up in Texas very soon. There's a lot of conservatives that I've been talking to, on social media in the neighborhood. And I know it sound minute, and I know it sound crazy when I'm saying this, but they mad as hell about this THC situation that's going on down here, and a lot of them didn't like it. And they say, man, we're gonna have to pick because Collin County, Collin County is purple right now. So it can flip either blue or red. And I think Collin County, if Tallarico get Collin County, and I want to say it's another county that's outside of DFW that's purple also. If he get those two counties, I think Tallarico gonna win. I really think he gonna win. And for me personally, I want to know your view on it. I see you down there, bro. Give me 1 second. I got a question for you, man. This is my thoughts right now. Me voting, right? And I am going to vote this midterm election. There's a lot of draconian laws out here. Certain things I don't really like in Texas right now. What the Republicans are doing, it's a lot of old school ways down here. Am I wrong? And I'm gonna listen to you, and I'm gonna go by what you say. I know people in the chat don't jump on me. Don't jump on me, y'all. Don't jump on me. But would I be wrong to balance it out by voting for Tallarico instead of Ken Paxton? Would I be wrong for voting for a Democrat this coming up election?
So what city is he going for again?
There you going. Let me see. I want to make sure I say it right too, y'all. I don't want to.
Going for a Senate seat, right?
Yes, Tennessee. Yes, sir.
So on a state level, that puts you and every other foundational black American behind the eight ball voting for a Democrat. On a national level, that puts the whole country behind the eight ball voting for that Democrat. Because if he gets in office, so this is the way it works, right? Bills have to be passed through the House, the Senate, and then it goes on to be signed into law, right? What laws do you think a Democrat is going to sign? We're going to abolish ICE. You're going to sign, you want to support that? Because you got to think about it. It's not just you balancing out the state of Texas. It's like, hey, this has national implications. The Senate is already tight. The House is tight. So do you really want to put a Democrat? Because you might agree with one thing, but think about how they tend to vote. They don't vote based on the Democrats have this thing where they say everything is federal. So they don't even try to go for state laws anymore. They want federal laws. So that way they can control what everybody's doing. So do you really want to be responsible? So let's say, for example, right, Democrats will take the House and the Senate and then the presidency, right? And Tallarico does win. And he's a tie-breaking vote. And he votes against something that you wanted. You really want to be responsible for that? Like ask yourself, right?
Be responsible for that. That's why I want to
come out. He's come out in support of the alphabet community doing what they want to do. And he's come out in support of abolishing ICE. He's come out in support of limiting weapons, Second Amendment. So it's like, huh? Do you support that?
I got you. Hey, listen. That's why I had to.
So if you don't support that, you gotta think about that.
Like, suffer then. I might have to just suffer. I agree, and that's why. Because I was going back and forth with certain just certain little things. Cause I always voted red here, cause especially locally where I'm at, I always vote red, cause it's just certain things that they offer in my area. Certain city councils, certain even the mayor, he doing a great job out here that I like. But just certain other. I'm gonna meet you up right quick.
Yeah, Brooke, your mic
Brooke,
is doing that
yeah, your
thing.
mic. Yes, we heard you feeling it with that tin can, but
Yeah, I
it
hope
was
that
certain.
water was good.
Yeah, it was good. We heard her gulping that motherfucker. But and I was just trying to see just where your mind was at on it. And I leaned towards what you were saying. Um, I might just sit on the couch this election too for this midterm for Texas. That's what I think I'm gonna go in that direction, man. I think I'm gonna go in that direction. So that was my thing, because I agree. I agree. I can't argue with you. And I'm just gonna ask you a few more questions, but before I do,
That's
what's
fine,
going
but
on?
nobody could have predicted Texas becoming a battleground state.
Yes, it's gonna be a
So
battleground state, dog, and it's gonna be kind of scary in a way, because on the flip side, bro, like I don't want them to mess up the money. You know what I'm saying? It's too much money out here that I'm making. I ain't hold on. Let me not say it like that. It's just too. It's a lot of financial opportunities that I'm having out here in Texas in the last 15 years that I've been living here, where it's a lot of Black Americans that live in Texas that's highly successful. And just like you explained, I feel like if a Democrat do get in office and it do flip blue, I think Texas kind of fucked. That's one side of it. I think Texas going to be fucked, man. Cause it's just so much. That's just for my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? My personal opinion. My personal opinion. My personal opinion. But I think it's gonna flip, man. I ain't gonna lie. I think it's gonna flip. I honestly do. That's just me. I hope not. But shit, how you broke it down with the Tallarico situation, I changed my mind on that. I ain't one of these people that's stubborn like that. If you say something that makes sense and you break it down to me in the kindergarten level, shit, I'm like, okay, I can rock with that. But Brooke, I'm gonna
Can,
introduce Brooke, but I still got Daniel on the panel. I just still want to ask Daniel a few more questions right quick. What's going on, Brooke? How you doing, baby?
I'm good. I just wanted to interject about the couch part, right?
Okay.
And so, couch,
Oh, my
right?
bad. I was trying to meet myself. I was trying to meet myself. My bad.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to introduce a different way of the couch, right? Because I want to update you guys on to some things that have been happening. So in Detroit, it has been uncovered that they have been stealing people's ballots. So all of the couch sitters, we gotta formulate a new plan, because if you on the couch, what happened? Okay, if you on the couch, they have been stealing your ballots and using them for, we think, for the Democrats, right? That's what we are assuming that is doing this,
facts.
right? And so I just would recommend that instead of sitting on the couch, you don't have to vote for anybody you don't want to vote for, but still go down there, right? And write in. I wrote in Santa Claus. I mean, just you take control of your ballot, right? And don't do mail-in. Like, stop with the mail-ins, right? You know what I mean? Take control of your ballot. Go down there, vote for the one or two people you like. You know what I'm saying? You can write in Tariq Nasheed. You can write in Daniel. You know what I'm saying? If you want to, you can write
Don't
in
write in
President
me, man.
Devine, right? You can write in you can write in President Devine of the U.S. Freedmen Project. You understand what I'm saying? But take control of your ballot, because just sitting on the couch like this, I want you guys to look into that. I'm gonna start, putting that stuff up. I'm super tired today. I look tired, right? Because I ain't really getting much sleep.
Don't you got work
But
in a few hours?
no, I'm off tonight. That's the only reason why I'm doing this, and that's why I didn't get much sleep, because I'm off tonight. But yeah, and I've been having some personal things going on, right? Which made me want to cry. But the work comes first, right? So I gotta, dry my tears, brush my edges, and come on here and talk about what we need to talk about, this lineage business. So yeah, so I just want to introduce somebody said write your own name. Yeah, write your own name. Write in what's that dude? What's the dude with the American flag suit? Afro Man.
Afro Man, Afro Man. Shout out to
You
Afro
know what
Man.
I'm saying? Like, just take control of your ballot, because this guy, he uncovered, like, he has a friend that he moved away. He knows for a fact this friend moved, and he found his friend's name. That was the beginning, because he went and researched all the names on the that voted in the election in that county. And so he knew for a fact that this name, and he knew this person to call them up personally. And the guy was like, and I know my homeboy don't vote. You know what I'm saying? And so, and come to find out, no, his homeboy did not vote, but he was registered as voting in the past election. So I just want to the voting for the couch has done us well, right? But it's time to reformulate that strategy, right? There's nothing wrong with on the couch, but they've reformulated their strategy. They know that you guys are voting couch, and now they have figured out a way to steal your couch ballot. And so so that's just what I would recommend as far as that's concerned. Like you said, you don't have to actually do it, but just make sure that your vote is for you and not for somebody else.
I can agree with that, and that does make sense, and I do agree. So, any information or anything that we can do to make sure that our votes not getting stolen, I'm with that. So, this is a question I got for y'all. Also, I guess I asked both of y'all this question. Um, I know what Daniel answer probably be. I don't know what Brooke answer gonna be, but let me see how can I say it. Um, After seeing Trump's current presidency, do you still believe that Democrats automatically have the black vote locked down? Because there's a lot of people that's upset
No.
with how Donald Trump has moved. I'm talking about the
I agree
ones
with Daniel.
okay, so it's a lot. It's a lot of Black Americans that was for Trump in the beginning when Trump first got in office. Now they singing a different tune right now. So what's y'all thoughts on that? I'm gonna mute up. Daniel, Brooke,
I'm gonna let
one of y'all go
Daniel.
first.
I think that's just noise. So when you look at the what's actually going, so when they say black people, they talking about Mark Lamont Hill, and we just saw how this clown tried to intellectualize something that just can't be intellectualized. So no, I don't think foundational Black Americans care that much about foreign policy. This is the Democrats do this thing where they just assume that we care about the things that they care about. We don't. Like I said, foundational Black American first, America only. He has not done anything to harm us. That's what I say. You take your emotions away from the situation. What has happened to you?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. This is not our fight. The thing is, we have been so, and this is who we are. We are people who seek justice. They say victim mentality. No, we have a justice mentality. Something was wrong. It needs to be righted. Foundational Black Americans at their core know these people in this country are legal. You can't break the law. Matter of fact, they lock you up for stuff you don't even do. The most exonerations for murder is black people at 53%. So we get locked up all the time for stuff we didn't do. You mean to tell me these people can break all these laws and you arguing that they should stay? Why do you think the turnout was so down from that? Like, yeah, we're not supporting that. Oh, it's terrible what they do. That's why they spent the better part of their campaign trying to relate us to foundational Black Americans. On the bridge in Selma, niggas didn't show up to that. Go back and look at that tape. Them all celebrities. Nobody showed up for that. We didn't care. So it's hard to force us to care about something we don't benefit. As a matter of fact, you hear people openly saying that. Back in the day, I'm going to say about 2014, 2015, I was reading through Trump's policies and I said, yo, I support this. I said that on Facebook and they called me all type of names. I roasted everybody and I told them in public, shout out to everybody from Helena, West Helena, Arkansas. Y'all want to fight, meet me at the gym. Nobody showed up. They just a lot of cackling online. That's all it was. Make no mistake about it. I'm still me. Watch who you talking to. You know who you talking about on Facebook. If you watching this, you know you was there. But anyway, I say I like to say this, right? From that post in 2015 to 2026, I got people tagging me. You was right. You was right. You was right. Again, these politicians don't interact with real people. They speak to the boule and they speak to the Sambos. They speak to people like Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton gonna tell you all day long, yeah, man, black people fed up with Trump and this, that, the other, and blah, 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 blah. But this is the same nigga that told us don't shop at Target, shop at Costco. Turns out he got a bag for that, by the way. They're looking at people like that as a gauge, which is the reason why, small plug here, it is important for us to send those emails that Sister Brooke is talking about. Because if we don't, they will think that the boule has the grassroots ear, and they do not. We don't support that. They don't control us. It's not like the NAACP back in the day when niggas was falling for that and like, oh, these guys will. No, we don't trust these people. We said all the time they sell us out. So we know where they're getting the information. That's why they were so shocked with this Kamala situation. They was like, wait, we thought we had more support. The boule got together and raised millions of dollars for Kamala Harris, and it tanked. She didn't show up to the niggas. She didn't show up to their party. She went home, had her a glass of wine, put the greens in the bathtub, and called it a night. You didn't hear from her until inauguration day.
That let you know what type of person she is when she did that. That shit told you everything right there.
Hillary Clinton did the same thing. She didn't show up. So they knew what time it was. And you know, and the sad part is that we got people like the homie Brian Jehovah considering voting for Tellerico. No, I'm just playing now. Nah, but jokes aside,
I ain't gonna lie. I got my own personal reasons. I can't say on here, but I think I mentioned it before. But yeah, I have my own personal reasons, but you know, I gotta look at the bigger picture. So, you know.
Yeah, because you have to think about this. I was talking to my auntie about this. Like, think about what you're doing long term, right? Because say, for example, something may affect me on a small level, but it might destroy you. I was watching this. I watch a lot of mob. I watch a lot of mob stuff, right? I just love the way they talk to each other, right? It's a level of respect. And the guy said, he said, listen, what solves a small problem for you here creates a bigger problem for me down the road. He's like, yeah, he's stopping you from making $20,000. But I have a deal with his boss, and that's worth billions. You know what I mean? So you might have to eat that 20 grand so I can get these billions. So say, for example, right, Tellerico says he's against reparations. He's not supporting it. So he's not going to support it at all. So you're going to vote for the guy that said that? Now, what is the goal for Foundational Black Americans? Because truth to be told, if the issue is THC in Texas, whether that's a law or not, people are going to do it. Like, that's just, hey, the government giving you permission to do something you're already going to do. Like, even if you take a look at in Michigan, where THC is legal in all products, even for recreational use, there's still a guy on his corner selling Nick bags. Because whether the government says it or not, there's always going to be a market for it. And guess what? The prices haven't come down on the streets. People ain't like, oh man, ain't no money in this. Just like gambling, for example, right? They said when they legalized the horse gambling in New York City, they said they're going to put the mob out of business. They laughed in their face. You know what? To this day, they still control the rackets. So it doesn't stop it. Voting against it does nothing. It's like it's a trick. It's a trick bag. Hey, support this and I'll give you this. But it's like, I'm going to do that regardless. So it just decriminalize it. But either way it goes, that's going to happen eventually, because eventually it's going to be on the federal level. Trump is already talking about reducing it on the federal level. So whether Texas wants it or not, Texas can say, hey, we don't really like it. But at the federal level, if it's reduced, then what? So it's like that vote was for nothing, but look what you sacrificed. And then in the state of Texas, as a senator, he'll wield a lot of power. And who do you think? The man's real name ain't even Tellerico. He took the Hispanic name for political reasons. He boasted for political reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a YT man. Like he's cosplaying that for the votes. And he's going to get them from them. He don't need to get them from us. Just saying. I mean, but do you though, big dog?
No, I'm gonna listen to you, man. Listen, I'm gonna listen to the people, man. I'm gonna listen to somebody that know more than I do, you know. So you done convinced me, man. It been on my spirit too, so I didn't know how to ask. So I said, you know what? Let me ask them on in front of everybody. Let them know that I'm honest with myself. Brooke, what's your thoughts on it, Brooke?
When we talking about
presidency, presidency. Do you still believe? I said, what's your thoughts on it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that more and more and more of us are waking up. If they had a problem, they're having such a problem with voter turnout, the Democrats, that they have reduced themselves to stealing votes, right? If they're at that point, it's only going to get worse for them. And I'm going to do my best to wake people up to the fact that they're stealing votes so that they can't even steal votes no more. You understand what I'm saying? And I hope everyone else will as well, right? I'll that's something I need to do. Is put that video out. But because we're not blind. We see how Kamala was letting, when she was a prosecutor, how she was letting illegals go free. We not only go free, but they were in freaking programs, work programs that she had. And then when it came to, what I'm saying, black people being, I be trying to figure out where I'm at on how I could talk. when it came to her, when black people were being pew-pewed by police on the street, she was allowing the police to go free. So we see the dichotomy, and it's becoming clear and clear every day. We see that here in New York, what happened in Times Square, how they're letting the illegals beat up the police, and then when it comes to us, you getting arrested for not paying your fare. You understand what I'm saying? For not paying is it $2.90? I think it's $3 now, right? It's $3 now, right? So for not paying your fare. Not only was somebody arrested for not paying their fare when that's happened at Times Square, when they're letting these illegals go for various crimes, right? And the Democrats are the ones that are doing it. It's the Democrats that are in these positions in these cities, right? So we got a Democratic DA who's allowing all of these legals to go free. And then at the same time, we have the police arresting people, ticketing people for not paying for what they think they're not paying their fare. And then we had a shooting in New York where they shot somebody for not paying their fare. They shot him and then accidentally pew-pewed a bystander. This is what we're seeing happening in these democratic cities, and our eyes are becoming open to what is happening, and we see how they're letting them go and how they treat us, and we still don't have no hate crime bill. We still don't have reparations. And also in New York, we see how it is the Democrats the Republicans aren't fighting me and President Devine and the U.S. Freedmen Project on our reparations. It's the Democrats and the Pan-Africans, which are one and the same. But I just want to be clear on who the hell we fighting over here, right? The Democrats. We also see how the Democrats are allowing foreigners to overrun them in various positions all over the country. That they are the ones that are jumping into these positions. So somebody wrote in the chat, if you register, you must, that this is a must though, right? Whether you sit on the couch or not, it is a must that you no longer register as a Democrat. Unregister as a Democrat. You can't just pick the couch. You know what I'm saying? You got to unregister as a Democrat and do it independent. If you don't want to be a Republican, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a Republican either. But register as an independent, and then that way they can't steal your vote. That's what somebody put in there. But I still would recommend, registering as an independent and still going down there and voting for something, even if you just writing in your own stuff, right? And so yeah, it's becoming apparent. And not only that, then we got the illegals and the immigrants that are running crazy through our streets. People see it. We're not blind. We see what's going on. And so we see ourselves being overrun. We see them giving them, in New York, they gave them $10 billion. We see it happening. We're not blind. And so I think it's going to be even worse. But that is the way of the Democratic Party. I always like to remind people of what I saw. And I know I'm the one that saw it, but I've definitely put pictures up on my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, everything. That the very first Democratic ticket, the very first one, it is in the museum, in the New York Historic Museum, right? It is in Manhattan. It says no Negro equality. That is why the Democratic Party was formed in the first place. So that there would be no Negro. That's what they stood on from jump. No Negro equality. And I don't see it being any different today. They don't want equality. That's why they're bringing all of these immigrants and illegals in on us, because they don't want us to be equal. That is why they prosecute us to the fullest extent of the law, but then they let illegals go free. All of these democratic policies that we see, aren't they right in line with no Negro equality? Not and understand, it's not even like no equality across the board for all, no American Negro equality, because as President Devine says, this country is founded on anti-Black American sentiment. So, I believe, like I said, that we are going to wake up, and I want to continue to wake us up further so that we don't allow our ballot now to be stolen by our couch sitting, which I completely agree with, but we just got to restructure that plan.
You got to update the couch sitting. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Now,
I see Daniel over there raising hands.
Go ahead, Dan. Go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just real quick, I wanted to say
make it happen. Go ahead.
To Brooks' point, definitely go down there and say something, because in California, the guy Spencer, who was running for mayor, he lost by like 10,000 votes or something like that, right? And it turns out ballot harvesting is a thing. So the homeless shelters, they'll go down and they'll get a bunch of people to write their names down and blah, blah, blah. And it's basically had them sign the ballot, and they'll take thousands of ballots to the thing and they'll mail them just like that. They'll do mail-in ballots like that. And that's how they end up stealing elections that way. So yeah, everything Brooks saying is 100% fact. Also, I want to state that, the Democrats, this is crazy. So they have always hated Black people. It's just now they use Black people as a tool. That's why they'll talk about Black people's struggles before getting people to talk about any of the other coalitions they got. If you look at what she said, the first ballot is no Negro equality. Well, in 1863, look this up. I was reading Frederick Douglass's book. This is how I figured this out. I heard about it, but it's like, all right, reading him talking about it. So the Democrats in New York, he said, was just as worse as the slave owners down south. So they still view Black people like that. And they started a riot in 1863 to avoid the draft. They said they didn't want to fight for Negroes, even though it wasn't even about that, but that's what they were doing. And he was like, this is basically the Confederacy up north. And they referred to New York as a Confederate state for the most part. And they still have that same mentality. They just smile at you. Malcolm X said, look, the white liberal is the most dangerous person in America, because you know why? They will smile in your face and they're plotting behind your back. This is what they do. That's why you think we ain't got tangibles? See, for the 60 some odd years Foundation of Black Americans have been voting for them, we have went backwards. They pull all the equity out of our neighborhoods. They run them down to the slums, complain about gentrification, come through with some renewal program that just pushes you out of your home. And then before you know it, they're selling I can go on for days about this, but yeah, long story short, short story shorter, everything Brooks said is 100% right. I don't think Black Americans should vote Democrat anything. Voting Democrat is damn near anti-Black, if you ask me. But that's not the conversation for a different day.
Hey, I agree with y'all.
Can I add something?
Go ahead, Brooke.
New York wanted to secede from the Union. That is how pro-Confederate New York was. People think because New York is in the North that, you know what I'm saying, that they was with the Civil War. That is why those Irishmen did not want to fight in the Civil War. That is why they had it. So when they got drafted, they were pissed off about it. And they ran up in a Black orphanage with children and set it on fire.
Yep.
That is how deep the slavery's history and Confederate history is in this state. New York wanted to secede from the Union. They was making too much money off the South. Where you think the South was bringing everything to? whatever cotton was being picked, it came up to New York to get shipped out. The sugar, Domino Sugar Factory is still there. And now they're not doing no sugar no more, but the building is still there in downtown Brooklyn. That is where they processed the sugar that came up from the South. Oh, yes, honey. That's where they processed the sugar that came up from the South and then shipped it overseas. Not to mention the insurance companies, the textile companies. This was the manufacturing. This was the plants where you know what I'm saying, where they would make the cloth and the material and then ship it out. So they weren't trying to go against their brothers and sisters in finance, okay, which was the South. So you know, and so when people talk about the Democrats, yeah, Frederick Douglass was, you know, seeing all of this firsthand, you know, as opposed to me, who's reading about this in history books. And so yeah, I just want people to understand how Southern New York and New Jersey, because New York and New Jersey was the same at the time. Well, they had the same governor. And the governor was friends.
I can believe.
I want y'all to know that.
I definitely read about the orphanage thing. He definitely talked about that. He's like, poor souls was lost, and he was like, the children had nothing to do with that. And he was like, yo, he said he felt safer in Ross, where he grew up, where he was living at. Then he said New York City was just as hostile to him as the South. But yeah, we getting off subject. My bad. But those are the same people.
I ain't knocking.
Look up Tammany Hall if you ever get a chance to.
Yep.
And you'll see the
Which
Southern
was
Democrats. Democrats. See? The
Not
Southern
only Democrats, but what kind of Democrats? Where were these Democrats from?
Speak on it.
They were immigrants.
And guess who they hated the most?
We already know.
Guess their main target was. Yeah, no, talk about it. You go ahead. See, the thing is,
us. It's always been us. Everybody's always setting it on us. Even after we, you know what I'm saying, when the Irish weren't accepted in white communities, and we accepted them, they turned on us for the opportunity to be white. So, you know, yes, Tammany Hall was run by a bunch of immigrants. These weren't, child, I had to watch my mouth. These weren't first and second generations. These are people who just got over here from Ellis Island.
Fresh out the boat. Frederick Douglass talked about that. He said he thought it amazing that he spent all that time in Ireland and they were sympathetic to his freedom fighting cause. And he was like, it's crazy how as soon as they come over here, they became just as hardened as a seasoned slave. And it's like, yes, this is what they do. They hop on code, but that's the conversation I'm going to talk about.
No, keep going. I'll be right back. I got to catch this call.
You know we could keep going.
So the thing with foundational Black Americans, and I said, we don't have any allies. Because as soon as the call comes from inside the house, they switch sides. They'll smile in your face all day long. So if you go back and you listen, if you read Frederick Douglass' book, he spoke about how when he talked about abolition and what it meant, the Irish people would be like, oh yeah, we agree. This is the Northeast. And they agree with it. But then fast forward the tape, when they started getting those positions and Black Americans who freed slaves, who freed themselves, started quote unquote threatening their position. They started doing things like, I don't know, unaliving them, breaking their arms. This is stuff they were doing. And these are the same people we talking about from the 1800s. These are the same people who have assimilated completely into that culture. So it's like everybody has this thing against us. And if they are quote unquote allies, it's only for so long. Which is why I don't see myself voting Democrat, because I know the history behind it. And they'll tell you all the time, oh, the party switched. They did not. Right. The Republican Party itself was funded by mostly Black people. Frederick Douglass marched in the first convention. This is what I'm saying. Like, this was, when you look at and you go back and you read the history for yourself and you don't listen to somebody telling you.
Hey, can you explain that part again? My bad to cut you off. Can you explain that part about the party switch? Can you dive into that a little deeper if you can?
So they like to say the Democrats down south were the ones, the slave owners, the ones Negroes can't vote, no Negro equality. That was them. That's still them. The Republicans was a party of Lincoln that freed the slaves, and they brought the Emancipation Proclamation into it. Right? That was a party with black people. That's why you seen the first black people elected came from that. But what happened was a lot of the Democrats moved up north, so they divested from slavery. So once the business was ordered, just to kind of put it in perspective, once slavery was done, you had people selling their plantations, selling everything, and moving up north. As a matter of fact, if you read Frederick Douglass' book, he'll talk about his old master's mistress, daughter, or whatever. She sold all her plantations, freed all her slaves. These are her words: freed all her slaves, and moved to New York. That's her story. What was really going on was everybody was divesting. All right, the free labor was over. We just gonna move away. Ain't no sense in us holding these big old houses. Matter of fact, they had been planning to do that anyway. They had contingency plans. So when they left, they didn't just forget. They didn't just forget their thought process. They still hated niggas. I mean, hated black folks. So what they started doing was they started, since they couldn't run. Keep in mind, the rebels were labeled as traitors. They could not hold public office, but their money still flowed. So they started buying politicians where they moved, and they had the camaraderie. We were brothers before this. So they started buying politicians who, guess what? Voted how they voted. So then you end up getting a Democratic president. You see? Now, and they'll tell you, the party switch. No. The Republican Party is not. It's like somebody telling you right now, country music switched from being a black art to a white art. No, that's not what happened. Black people just focused on something else. Just because black people focus on hip hop doesn't mean black people can't do country. Black people have always been. Black people have always been conservative. If you talk to black people and you take the politics away from it, and you say, "Hey, should a man be a woman?" No. Should you love Jesus? Yeah, you should love Jesus. Why do you think those values line up so much? That was our party. So it never switched. Now, what happened was good marketing. Like Malcolm X said, the white liberal is dangerous. It says them and the conservative had the same appetite. The conservative will tell you, this is what Malcolm X said. This is in the 60s. They'll tell you that. But you're friendlier, the fox has more successful in his attempt. They have foxed us to thinking that that's the wave. So to this day, you have people who will tell you they don't agree with a single Democrat position. Take it away from politics and just ask them about it. No, I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Not a single Democrat position, but won't vote against them. The title of the book is The Life and Times of Frederick Douglass. So if you see like, damn, so why is that? Good marketing.
They marked, man. They did a number. That's a whole number right there. I ain't lying to you. That's a whole number on it. You know.
That's Jesse Jackson. That's Al Sharpton.
Al Sharpton, Missy Jesse, all those people. So I'm gonna ask y'all two more questions, man. And I think I had y'all on a long time, so I don't want to keep y'all up too. Oh, is it echo? Damn.
Oh, it is. Let me mute up.
Yeah, is it an echo now? It probably on my end. I'm gonna have to fix that because I'm noticing when people come up, it's an echo on my end. So my question is to you. Well, I'm gonna ask one question because there's a lot of young people. Like my daughter, she gonna vote. They friend gonna start voting. You know, the younger generation gonna start voting. What message would y'all give to the younger FBA voters, like found Black American voters, who are, let's say, deciding how to vote for the first time in this midterm cycle? What would you say to them?
I would say research.
Y'all got it.
Yeah, I got it. I would say research. I would say, you know what? Listen, don't listen to what they tell you. Look at what they look. You can type in AI and ask them, summarize what this bill is. Is there anything in here that's misleading? And they'll tell you. See, if you like follow me on TikTok or Twitter or YouTube, you know I will sit out and I will read the entire bill word for word. We did this again with the Trump situation. So, for example, they told you Trump was handing out reparations to the January 6 people. That's not what was going on. He set up a Truth and Freedom Fund. It was for the victims of the Biden DOJ and before. So if you or anybody else felt like you was wrongly accused by the government, you could submit an application and you could get a 5-panel member and possible monetary compensation for your wrong. That's what that was. But they understand this is where it gets real dangerous. This is where the market comes in. Democrats will sit up under foundational Black Americans all day long and listen to the conversation. They know we're talking about reparations, delineation, and disaggregation. So they will sit under us, listen to those words, and they will use that in the talking point. Trump has promised reparations to them. Well, y'all ain't been talking about reparations for about 30 years in the mainstream media. We've been talking about in the grassroots for the past 6. Where did y'all get that conversation from? What did y'all think to do that? See, the whole thing is to trigger you into being emotionally invested in their victory. So you feel a need to vote for him. When I ask people, Black people, what did Trump do to you? Like, what did he do to affect you? He's starting all those wars with those people. I'm like, what they got to do with you? Gas prices going up. All right, cool. Yeah, gas prices going up. Hey, but Biden told you he raised gas prices because he wanted to help Ukraine out.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely.
So it's like same thing. So I would tell the young people, just to put a ball in my bag game, I would tell them do their own research. Don't listen to nothing from neither party. Use the AI tools. Ask them, hey, what does this mean? And then when you find the answer, get in touch with them and ask a question or two. Alan.
What about you, Brooke? Well, hold on one second. Shout out to everyone in the comment section, man. Shout out to my brother Trey, the Truth Teller. Make sure y'all follow him also. Make sure y'all further follow brother Dan also, man. The Foundational Report. Make sure y'all follow his page. Make sure y'all support him. Make sure y'all follow my sister Brooke also. Make sure y'all follow her. Thank y'all for the gifts, man. Thank y'all for the cash apps. Thank y'all for liking the videos and everything. And make sure y'all subscribe to my channel also. And make sure y'all join my membership. I will be adding some things to the membership this week. I haven't gotten to it yet. But most definitely, please make sure y'all join the membership if y'all can. Shout out to my mod, I Am My Ancestors' Dream. Shout out to you, sister. I appreciate you holding it down. But go ahead, Brooke. Do you remember the question? What message would you give to young people that's voting for the first time, especially in this midterm election? What advice would you give them?
Well, I'm going to start with New York. In New York, we got to vote Republican. Down ticket. Down ticket. These Democrats, the Democrats told President Devine that Republicans don't run shit but they mouths. They don't have no power. They don't have no influence. Okay. That means, and like President Devine always says, that means you got to take your wins and your losses. So when it comes to what the fight that we're having for reparations, the fight that we're having with our properties that were stolen from us already, because at this point, a lot of foundational Black American properties have already been stolen. Now, the newcomers are getting their properties stolen. This was all done by Democrats. They've all allowed this to happen. So we have to shake up the apple cart, so to say. Right, and it's a sanctuary city. And that has to stop. We're sick of being overrun. We're busting at the seams. Remember, they were busting them illegals. And then the Democrats wanted to blame the Republicans for busting them. And I can't blame the Republicans for busting them into New York because they're like, well, hell, we're not a sanctuary city. We didn't want this. You guys wanted this. So send them down there. So I can't, as horrible as, you know what I'm saying, that what that governor, the Texas governor is, I can't blame him for that. I would have done the same thing. This is your problem then. Since you want them here so bad, take them. So we have to end this sanctuary city status. And the only way that we're going to be able to, in this fight here, we have no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, just permanent interests. And like Daniel was saying earlier, immigration is our biggest problem in New York right now. And so we have to align with anybody who's against immigration. And right now, that is only the Republicans. Well, Eric Adams put himself in the fire for it. That's his problem. He thought, let me tell you, Eric Adams, because I hate Eric Adams. Okay? With every fiber of my being, everything about him, I hate. I hate his mama. That's how much I hate him. I hate him. I hate her for having him. So Eric Adams thought he was going to get a pat on the head from Joe Biden. That's what he thought. He thought that he was going to be Joe Biden's little lapdog, and Joe Biden was going to invite him to the White House, and he would sit down like a bald-headed nigga puppy in front of the fire, and Joe Biden was going to pat him on the head. Oh, Dan, you're going to tell me to shut up. Okay. And Joe Biden was going to pat him. You're on mute. Okay. I'm going to slow down. And Joe Biden
talk your shit, Brooke, but just come on, think about it. Oh, yeah, we don't lie.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. They brought up my hated subject. He thought that he was going to pat him on his bald head like a little dog, like the dog that he is. And Joe Biden ignored him. Rebuffed him when Joe Biden came to New York to the God dang it, why can I think of the nation thing?
State of the Union?
No, not when all the countries come to New York.
UN
and block up traffic. Yes, came to the UN.
UN.
When he came, the UN. When he came to the UN and blocked up traffic, we hate that shit. Just by the way. When he came to the UN, he didn't acknowledge him. When Eric Adams went to Washington, he didn't acknowledge him. And that is when he started turning on the Democratic Party. And he started telling the truth about how much money, how it was costing him $10 billion. That's how I know how much it cost, because he told us. And that's when he started saying, and then he ran like the rat that he is, and didn't want to even run for the next election to clean up your own stank ass mess. And now we left with this idiot Mandami. He should have ran again. Run again and clean up your mess, because at least if he would have ran again, that time he would have been against this immigration, because he already seen the problem. But now we got Mandami in here, this freaking democratic socialist who's trying to turn New York into a communist city. So, if you guys are going through issues in your city, the way we're going through issues here in New York on any scale, you need to think about voting Republican at this point. And even if it's just one cycle, you understand what I'm saying? Just as a FU vote. Like, this is a FU to the Democrats. And so, because they think, like I said, in New York, they said that Republicans don't run that. They think that they running around here like they the HNICs. Like they, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't touch them. Like Senator James Sanders. Senator James Sanders is a foundational Black American traitor in a seersucker suit. And this man sat there and sat on our disaggregation bill, acted like he was for it, decided to author it just so he could sit on it and kill it in committee. So, but guess what? He's running unopposed. This is why he feels he can do whatever he want to do, because who's running against him? Nobody. Because the Republicans don't even think they can. That's why the Republicans didn't even give us a choice in New York. Sliwa's not a choice. That's an idiot. And he's been an idiot for decades. Don't nobody take him seriously? You should have seen after the election. They was throwing trash at him and everything. When he had to run for his life.
Damn, they were doing it like that.
Yo, turning over whole trash cans of garbage on him, throwing bikes at him. Somebody threw a bike at his head because they felt like he took votes from Cuomo because he did, and he was the only Republican candidate. So they felt like he split the vote, and Cuomo might have had a chance against Mondami, and that's how mad real New Yorkers was about Mondami winning. We don't love Cuomo. Cuomo ain't nothing. We hate Mondami. And at this, like I said, at this point, you know, we have to hate vote in New York. And like I said, if you going through something like we're going through in our city, hate vote. Hate vote. Because that's what I'm going to do. Republican down ticket. F all the Democrats in New York, except for Nikki Lucas. Nikki Lucas is the author of our disaggregation bill, our reparations bill. She is the only Democrat I love. And she is in East New York. So she is the assembly person in East New York. So if you were living in East New York, Brooklyn, please vote for her. I don't think she's up for election though, but just make sure y'all support her and help her and hug her and send her love, because she's the only person to stand strong against everybody else and have our back against everybody else. And so she's the only Democrat that I would ever vote for, but I don't even live in her district. So, you know, and that's the thing. There's not one U.S. Freedmen Project member, I believe, that lives in her district. And she still is our champion assembly person. You know what I'm saying? So, aside from Nikki Lucas, that's the only Democrat that I care about. Vote Republican. F them all.
I agree.
Let they
Y'all
all
laid it
burn.
down, man. Y'all laid it down tonight. Y'all laid it down tonight. But listen, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. Daniel, Brooke, y'all got any last words before I end the live?
I will say just follow me on YouTube. I am BREUCKS, right? Follow my YouTube channel, where you can hear me talking spicy more often. And also, you know, I'm going to be doing like I see a lot of obscure documentaries. So if you could subscribe to my membership, you know, so that we could watch these obscure documentaries together, because they have copyright laws, or I can't put them on regular YouTube. Subscribe to my membership or my Patreon. That's it. Oh yeah, somebody said they like my t-shirt. This shirt is also on sale. You could buy this t-shirt on my website, that is evenmelanin.com, and I'll put everything in the chat for everybody. I also put a link to Daniel's YouTube in the chat as well, and I'm going to put mine in there as well. So if you guys could that's President Divine. Follow President Divine as well on YouTube. We are trying to push him to start going on YouTube and win his own channel, but that will be his channel when that is his channel. He just ain't got no videos up there yet. So follow President Divine on YouTube as well. That will motivate him to put some videos up there. And I'm out.
Got any last words, Daniel?
Yeah, President Divine reached out to me. I sent you a message on TikTok. Shout out to the Daily Wrap Up crew for having the U.S. Freedmen Project on it. If you've been seeing any of their YouTube videos, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, about 80% of the clips outside of Brooke is President Divine. Everybody wants to know who this brother is. I got people asking me, yo, you know this dude? You know this dude? Yo, you should link with him. I'm like, no, I don't know him. You should tell me more about him. Oh, man, he was cooking on it. Yo, President Divine. Take it from me. Take it from Brian Jehovah. Take it from Brooke. You are leaving so much money on the table by not starting your YouTube channel. Shout out to the family. This is the best way the family can.
I'm about to tell President Divine business. President Divine was in the train station the other day, right? And he's like, I hear my voice. He saw people watching one of the clips of him in the train station, and I'm telling him, like, you got to get ready for this transition. That God is like, I'm put His business out there. Come on, President Devon. Come on. Go ahead, Daniel.
Nah, you good. I forgot what I was gonna say. But long story short,
I'm
short
sorry.
story shorter. No, you're not. Long story short story shorter. Please get at me. Brooke, send him my number. We do need to talk
Okay.
because one thing I don't like is people reposting your stuff and you not eating off of it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I ain't did a reaction video to yours yet, but hey, listen, if you don't do something, I'm just playing. Appreciate it. Shout out to President Devon, man. Peace, reparations, and delineation. I want to thank everybody for 6,000 subscribers. Shout out to my dog Brian Jehovah. You know what I mean? I will hit my sound bite. Y'all know it. I'm not gonna do it, but I ain't gonna do it. But
I
y'all
have
stay sharp
respect
though,
for Brother
man.
Dan.
Yeah, just say
Appreciate
that.
that. I got
Yeah, just
respect for
say
you too,
that,
bro.
Brooke. Just say that, Brooke. Cause then I don't want to get jumped on.
Yeah, if you
Brian,
go to
Oh, I
TikTok.
forgot. I forgot. Okay. Well, I got
Brian.
Well,
respect
I
for
appreciate
Dan.
you for having me, Brian.
Nah, I
I got
appreciate
Hey,
respect
you.
for
yo, real quick.
Brian too.
Me and Brian got me, Brian, and Brooke, and Candace, and the homie NCO, my dog Taji. We do got more content coming y'all way, so y'all stay sharp.
And we got to pull President Devon in there too.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. And these Daniel, Brooke, Candace, I haven't met, I don't know President Divine and I don't know NCO, but these three people right here, man, they helped me out so much, man, with content, with so I can have a better understanding of politics and things like that, and it helps me translate it to making videos. So it's always a pleasure to have them on my panel, man, and it's always a blessing. I met all three of them on TikTok, you know what I'm saying, and didn't know where they were from, didn't know nothing until they told me they were from Twitter, and I saw greatness in them, and I saw a lot of things that I didn't know that they always spit hard facts. So a lot of stuff that I say, it come from them, from me learning from them. So I will always pay homage and be thankful to these two. So once again, make sure y'all follow Daniel at the foundational. Damn, I messed it up every time. What is it, Dan? Say it again, man.
The
Foundational.
foundational report.
I'm about to say
You had it.
Oh, foundational report. Make sure y'all follow Daniel on foundational report, and make sure y'all follow my sister Brooke also. Shout out to everyone in the comment section, man. I thank y'all so much, man, for everything, for y'all helping with my channel, helping my channel grow, commenting, and just enjoying everything. And I will continue to do what I do, but most definitely follow these two. Make sure y'all follow my girl also, Candace. She probably be back on with me probably this week, one day this week. So yeah. So shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. Once again, I appreciate it. This light I got is too bright and I'm too fat to move. I feel like turning it down. So the light is whooping my eyes right now. So that's why I'm
I know
ending
the
it.
feeling. Me too.
Yeah, but I'm gonna talk to y'all when I end this live
Y'all
though.
gotta turn the soft light on.
I know dang when I was
But that's
messing with it
too.
earlier, you know what I'm saying? Plus, I ain't want to stand up because I ain't got no pants on. I just got some drawers on.
Yo, I love Brian. Honesty.
Just hit the
Yo,
camera joint. So look, the soft light I got it from Amazon, bro. It's two of them, right? See, I can turn the other one on, other one off. Feel me?
Yeah,
I just got
I
I
one
need
of
got
them.
you.
all the lights. I
I'm just
look.
getting whooped
I'm
right now by
tired
this
looking.
light. Hold on. Yeah, I ain't want to stand up and show my drawers and shit. So yeah, let me turn. Yeah, I had to. Woo.
Cut the camera off.
Yeah, I'm finna cut it off now. But anyway, shout out to y'all, man. I'm gonna end the stream. Thank y'all so much for joining. Y'all have a great week. Peace out, and I love y'all.